3. Maybe not.
No, I don't think we do.
Okay.
Mm, mm, mm. 3.
I got it to work now.
Yay.
Okay, now we have a quorum.
All right. I will call to order the Champaign County Mental Health Board meeting, March 22nd, 2023. Can I get a roll call, please?
Matt Hausman, Daphne Maurer, Molly McClay, Joe Omosagie.
Here. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
Elaine Palencia,
Here.
Jen Straub, Jane Sprandel,
Here.
John Paul Joachim.
Here. All right.
Okay, that is not a quorum. I thought I saw.
Yeah, there's Daphne.
I'm here. Daphne's here.
Daphne,
She
yeah.
just has some technical difficulties. Sorry.
Okay, thanks.
And
And
Matt
Matt
Haus-
Hausman's showing up now too.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So the next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
I'll
And-
second.
All right, Joe, second. Can I get a roll call, please?
Matt Hausman,
Yes.
Daphne Maurer,
Yes.
Joe Omosagie,
Yes.
Elaine Palencia,
Yes.
Jane Sprandel,
Yes.
John Paul Joachim.
Yes. So the next item is citizen input and public participation. Everyone is welcome to attend the board meeting to observe and offer their thoughts during this time. I'll limit public participation to 5 minutes per person and 20 minutes total. Is there anyone in the public that would like to make some comments? Now is the time. All right, seeing none, we'll go on to the chairperson's comments, which is me. So, I know we have a lot to cover today. I do want to thank all the hard work from the staff. I know you guys are working diligently on the review of the applications, and I do want to thank all the agencies for turning in applications. And I know it's a lot of work, but it's going to benefit a lot of people in the community, and I know it takes a lot of coordination and a lot of time, but it's definitely well worth it. So with that, I'll move on to the executive director's comments. Lynn.
Hi. It is an information-packed board packet. You can spend as much or as little time discussing any of this. There's a presentation to start it off with. I hope that's sets a nice tone. Those are always exciting. And then there's an item that only has the matrix with your board reviewer assignments next to the applications that have been submitted so far. As you know, that's no longer current, but it was current at the time of putting the board packet together. So it's there if you want to have any discussion about the review process, about the applications. That's an agenda item that is not, the packet's not full of information, but you might be. So, a welcome discussion there, but I don't really have a lot to add. I think there's plenty in the board packet. So thank you all for being here.
All right. With that, we will go on to the next item, which is the approval of the mental health board minutes from February 22nd. So I'll give everyone a couple minutes to look at that and see if there's any revisions that anyone wants to make to it. All right, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
If there's no conversation, I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All right, can we get a roll call?
Wait, hang on. I have to stop sharing before you do the roll call, and the stop sharing button has disappeared.
Oh, while you're doing that, Lynn,
Yeah.
kind of a conversation regarding the last point with the Rattle the Star. Since that's been resolved, do we need to record that anywhere?
It'll be maintained as closed session minutes for the next 18 months.
Okay, but I meant with as far as the the motion that we made in open session.
I don't know. That's a complicated question.
Okay.
Like since it was a closed session, we probably shouldn't talk about it in open session.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Stephanie, do you have an opinion? I did not ask the attorney what we should do about that.
Well, right now we have a motion on the floor,
Okay.
so we should vote on that and then come back to it if you want.
All right, can I get a roll call, please?
Molly McClay,
Yes.
Joe Omosage,
Yes.
Elaine Palencia,
Yes,
Jen Straub. Did she show up?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I'm here. I'm sorry, I was a
Okay.
little late.
That's okay. Jane Sprandel,
Yes.
Matt Hausman,
Yes.
Daphne Maurer,
Yes.
John Paul Joachim.
Yes. And to Matt's point, in the minutes, we said we approved, for Lynn to continue restorative measures with Rattle the Stars. So, she did that, it got resolved. And so I don't think we need to discuss that further at this time.
Yeah, I just didn't know if we need to record it somehow since it wasn't.
I don't think we do.
no, my memory of former closed sessions is you come back into open session to vote to adjourn, and you don't discuss things from that closed session in open session. I think we did that a little bit wrong last time from what we had done, what I remember before. So I think we don't discuss that. Yeah.
But excellent question, Matt. I think we approved the motion, the
Right.
minutes as the motion was made. So I think, yes, we're completely good and they shall stay closed. So I think we're good.
Okay.
All right, so the next item on the agenda is the vendor invoice list on pages 8 through 10.
I had a question. On the first page, there's a CU Autism Network Platinum sponsorship check. What was that?
This is for to promote the expo. We're gonna sponsor a booth at the CU Autism Walk, which is in April, and then one of the expo coordinators is going to be at the event all day with save the date flyers and expo resource books.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I guess the detail of making this specific to the expo is missing from the claims, but it is something that Chris recorded in the requisition. So
Okay, good. Yeah, I wondered why, yeah.
he's
we were
able to put it in the right place in the budget, but it's just not showing there as an expo related expense. But
All
he-
right.
yeah,
I just didn't know that we were funding the autism network, that's, I mean,
Right.
that's DD board, so that's why it looked odd to me. Thank you.
right. So it's a split cost to support the expo.
Okay.
Since so much of the expo promotion is kind of word of mouth and putting paper in the hands of people who might not otherwise interact with us. So that was the logic. Anyway, thank you for the question.
If
Alright.
there are no further questions, I make a motion to approve the vendor expenses as presented.
And I will second that motion. Can we have a roll call, please?
Elaine Palencia,
Yes,
Jen Straub,
Yes.
Jane Sprandal,
Yes.
Matt Hausman,
Yes.
Daphne Maurer,
Yes.
Molly McClay,
Yes.
Joe Omosagie, John Paul Yoakim.
Yes. With that, we'll move on to new business, which is the agency program mid-year progress report. We have Family Services, Julie Schubach. I'm hoping I say your name correctly, manager of the social isolation programs, and Jermaine Raymer, program director, and they'll present the creative social connectivity for seniors program, which is newly funded for fiscal year 2023.
So Julie, if you have easy access to your presentation, I would prefer if you present it so that you can move through the slides as you like. And also, because when we converted the PowerPoint to PDF and resized it to fit our board packet, we lost some of your beautiful graphics. We didn't lose any of your information, just the beauty. So, okay.
I've got it up here just in case, so that works just fine. So let me try to share that here. Okay. So we have the creative social connectivity for seniors because we just love mouthfuls. And I am the program manager for these social connectivity programs here at Family Service. I'm going to cover the purpose of the program, the community we serve, the program designs. There's two elements to this: the holistic engagement, mid-year statistics, highlights and challenges, and then our future goals for the program. And just a moment. There we go. Okay, so the purpose of the program, overarching, is to encourage connection, community building, and engagement. For CUI's TV specifically, we engage older adults in the community and provide accessibility to local events and online content through a technology that's more widely adopted and comfortable for our population. And for Creativity on Wheels, we believe that opportunities for creativity and self-expression are essential components for healthy aging, and we're aiming to increase connection both to others, but also to self and to nature as well, to provide opportunities for creative exploration and self-expression, and to inspire positivity, self-reflection, and resilience. The community that we're serving these programs is adults age 60 and older living in an independent residence in Champaign County, and other interested Champaign County residents for CUI's TV. For the CUI's TV program, you'll see our partners along the left. We develop and curate local engaging content specifically for older adults, and it airs 3 times a week on Parkland College Television and Urbana Public Television. We create a monthly TV guide that's dispersed to community partners. You'll see an example of that in the next slide. And we have some shows that are in the works. Synergy is looking at starting up a cooking show where they go to senior community livings and have a resident. They've done, I think, 5 of these shows, and then they lost the person that was doing the taping and editing. But they would work with a resident of the facility, and they would bring a recipe of significance to them, and they would cook it together in the facility's kitchen, and the older adult would talk about memories from that recipe and why they chose it. And it was starting to be a really popular show, so we're anxious to get that back. We've been working with Illinois Extension on an Aging Well show where we can interview different members of the Aging Network, can interview different experts who will share sort of what you didn't know you needed to know about different Aging Well topics. So that would be the coroner, all kinds of different people that have information to share. And then we're always looking for ways to highlight the wisdom and experience and talent of our local older adults, and any kind of show that we can put together to do that. This was an example of our February TV guide. And then the Creativity on Wheels program, that includes monthly creativity boxes and monthly social calls. For the box design, we engage local artists and contract with them to design the art instruction piece of the box. And then I design all the other aspects of the box. The boxes are assembled by family service staff and volunteers and interns. And we also have a relationship with Parkland Occupational Therapy Assistant Program and Parkland nursing students. And they occasionally come in to provide calls or to help design some healthy aging information to put in the boxes, and even do some friendly visiting. The boxes are delivered by family service volunteers, much in the same way that our Meals on Wheels program runs. Currently, we have 7 routes delivering creativity boxes. And for the Urbana route, the Urbana Park District delivers it in their Urbana program van, which is a lot of fun for the people that get those. And then the monthly check-in calls are given by trained family service volunteers or interns as friendly callers. And then we do occasionally have Parkland nursing students from a longstanding friendly visiting partnership with them. So sometimes participants can get a student that can come and help go through the box with them in person. And you'll see the partners for this program along the left. The creativity boxes each has a theme, and they're designed to be holistic, positive, and introspective. They all have open-ended questions that go along with the theme, positive quote cards, about 10 in each box, song suggestions, mostly from the 60s and 70s, art supplies and instruction. Then I will put in a craft that's a little less skilled with instructions. And then any kind of mindfulness, deep breathing, or wellness information that might go along with the theme. And you'll see just a list of the themes that we've covered so far. And these are from our March box that just went out last week. Each box has this box content page. March is National Craft Month, so the artists put together origami birds and paper flowers and worry dolls. And then you'll see the list of beautiful questions for the box and the song suggestions down at the bottom. And then along the left, you'll see some of the quote cards from this box and part of the instructions for the worry dolls. And then onto our mid-year statistics for community service events. But for first and second quarter total, we're at 28, so just a hair over 50%. The service screening contacts were at 215, so a little bit lower than the 50% mark. And I'll talk about that in the challenges. And then for the non-treatment plan clients, we have 55 so far served out of the 50. We were able to recruit our target number from the first month and have had people filter in and out for various reasons. So that's why you'll see the number grow. For program highlights and challenges, I think one of the biggest challenges is getting everyone on the phone every month. When we piloted this in 2021, we had much smaller numbers and we were able to match students one-on-one, and they developed a routine of when they were going to call, and it was a lot easier than working with 50 and having different volunteers coming out and make the calls. And some people are more interested in the boxes than the calls, so I think that's ironing that out has probably been the biggest challenge. But luckily there's been a lot of highlights. We've developed a lot of new partnerships, which strengthens the aging network, reduces fragmentation of services, and connects the social service world with the art world. Hoping to spark innovative service delivery ideas by working with students and having them see innovative new ideas and be a part of the program, both for health and social work fields. We did a mid-year program evaluation in December, and that revealed very positive feedback. You'll see quotes from that later on. And interest in the program is growing rapidly. Thanks to people sharing the flyers, we have a little over 20 people looking to get into the program at this point. So going through the mid-year evaluation that we did with participants, the qualitative data showed these themes of socialization, mental health, quality of life and exploration, and self-growth and life review. So we'll go on to quotes for each of these. For socialization, a lot of people talked about engaging with the boxes with others, with their spouse, other family members, their grandkids, their home care workers. They're sharing the quote cards like their Pokemon cards. This person who lives in a senior independent apartment says, getting them is exciting. I have people ask me when it's coming, and people come to my door to see what I get. It's a very social thing. And another person said that it seemed when the creativity kicked in, their mind seemed more open to reaching out to friends, which is a really exciting find. And a lot of people said different versions of talking about the box or sharing items of the box just gives them another way to open up dialogue with other people. As far as mental health, one of the questions we asked is if the program improved their mood, and 98% of the people said yes. One participant said, when I think I'm sad, I start to do crafts. It's hard to be depressed when you're revisiting what play was for me. I feel good doing them. It makes your mind work, keeps you alert, gives you something to look forward to. The quote at the top, I didn't realize that I was breathing from my chest instead of my stomach. The grounding exercises helped my PTSD. And that was just some of the supplemental information that we put in a box about grounding and deep breathing. And then this longer quote was very encouraging. This program came to my door full of wonderful things that helped me not to slip further into the well. I suffer from chronic depression. It made me think. No, gave me the opportunity to think again. It gave me a chance to use my hands again and to make art. It tells me that I am enough and aided me to look further inside, examine old beliefs and habits. It was set up to remind me that I am still alive and that someone actually saw me. Thank you. I can't imagine a more positive feedback. For quality of life and exploration, when asked if the program improved their quality of life, 93% of participants answered yes, that it gives them something to look forward to, gives them a no expectation value of themselves, presented new things to try and to push creative limits, One participant was a 3D artist, but was always tentative to try 2D, and doing the boxes gave her a stress-free way to try 2D and to engage in that. And then self-growth and life review. Participants said, learning to laugh at my mistakes, more knowledge of myself and others, allowing mistakes with a good job mindset. Another said, thoughtfully put together, thought-provoking, makes you use part of your mind that you haven't used in a while. And another person said, my least favorite turned out to be another favorite. Opening the doorway to my childhood, I thought that I might not be able to do it. Turned out the boxes helped me salvage what good things happened, not just the bad. We had a box, she's referring to, we had a box themed Toys of the Past. And so there was a lot about play and the importance of play for adulthood and questions about childhood and then just other impacts. Parkland and UIUC students are learning how to effectively communicate with older adults and build rapport through the calls and through the friendly visits. Again, hoping to spark innovative service delivery ideas and show people that you can attack problems in a lot of different ways. Intergenerational communication can break down ageist beliefs, both for the students and the older adults. Concerns and resource needs are being passed on to family service caseworkers to be addressed. So there's more people laying eyes and ears more so to be able to hear and make sure that those needs are addressed. And just more people checking in on older adults in the community. So future goals we have for the program based on feedback that we got from the evaluations and based on our own goals. For CUI's TV, our goal is to develop new shows and increase outreach to engage more people and hopefully build up our TV guides to be a little bit more substantial. And for Creativity on Wheels, encourage communication between participants. They've got a really good handle and a good start on the boxes and how to explore with creative materials and how that can improve their wellness. But I think at this point, they're ready to start talk to other people about how they're using the program and what they're making and share memories and talk about the beautiful questions. So we've considered pairing participants to call each other, starting a Facebook group so that they can share their art and talk to each other on Facebook for those that are online, having an in-person art club for artists to teach in-person classes, and then working with community partners such as Craner Art Museum, who we've recently started working with. We're looking at developing 2 series of boxes or 2 tracks. We've noticed that there's age and cognition considerations when designing the box. There is a difference between people wanting to build art skills and people that just want a project to work on, and needing simple versus more complex instructions. There's between the 60-year-olds and the 90 to 100-year-olds in the program, it's quite a range to be able to design for everyone. So finding better and better ways to go from simple to complex and try to meet as many needs as we can. And then the inclusion of family caregivers and care recipients. We do have a few who are using the program, and I think the simpler track would make it a lot easier, allow for more free-form use of the materials. And then many participants said that there's so much in the box and it's so rich that they need more time. So we're looking at every other month boxes. And then we're looking at requiring the artist to create an art instruction video as well, along with the written instructions, both so people can see it for visual learners, and then for people, we do have people on the program with low vision, but also other disabilities as well. So trying to hit as many different ways as we can. So in summary, creativity and connection without a doubt, we believe play a role in health and wellness, including healthy aging. Social and creative engagement in later years is crucial. And the expressive arts can build community as well as spark individual growth. Thank you. I'd be happy to take questions.
So I actually had a question for Julie. I was wondering, it seems like you guys have a lot on your plate, that you guys are accomplishing a lot. Obviously, it's great that you guys are a great resource for seniors, especially, as we age, we can often become isolated, and it's really important to make sure that we are staying social and having things to help with our mental health as part of our whole well-being. I was wondering, how do you find so many volunteers for the programs that you guys serve, and how do you prevent your group from overextending itself, from burning out?
Sure. Or we've got different volunteer roles. For the volunteer drivers at this point, we had a really good pool between our senior transportation and Meals on Wheels, and we pulled a few more volunteers in, although I'm looking at recruiting more so that we don't overextend, because senior transportation really needs the drivers and needs more drivers. So reaching out to the art world, which we've never really done before, has helped a lot, because there's a lot of people who care a lot about art that hadn't really, actually, most of them had thought about older adults, but just didn't know how to connect and to serve that community. So there's been a lot of people who have been thinking about this, pastors and artists themselves, who have had that on their heart, but just didn't know where to start. So I've been developing more relationships so that we can get more drivers. But as far as the callers and the people helping to put the boxes together, a lot of those are university students, and I have not hit. Usually there's more volunteers than you can use, so I'm happy to have opportunities for them.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I think Matt has a question.
Yeah, thanks, Julie. This is great. Love what you're doing with them. The feedback you got was incredible and shows what kind of an impact. I'm curious though, since it seemed a lot of that was focused on the boxes. I'm curious if you've been able to get any feedback regarding your CUI's TV programming and things like that. Like maybe when you're doing those check-in calls, if you're asking them, or if there's any way to find out about that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is another major challenge, is that using public television, they're not able to get any of that information about who's watching. So other than having the YouTube, all the videos are uploaded to YouTube, so I can see how many people are watching that way. And a lot of the facilities can't get public television, we found out, through whatever dish they're using. So we've encouraged them, and they've started just playing them on YouTube if they've got a TV that they can pair, or smart TV, so that, and I think as we start to get momentum and get new shows going, like that cooking show, if that was regular, I could see that being an activity at assisted living places, especially when they see one of their residents being highlighted. But I haven't found out a good way. We have a committee. This started with the senior task force, and then family service adopted it. So it's still an item on all the aging service meetings, and we've got a committee that works on developing content. And so that's been a regular topic of discussion, is to figure out, and we've thought about having little prizes for people to call in and give feedback. We do ask people about it when we call, but I haven't found a good way to get quantitative data on that yet. But that is one of the major challenges, and it has been asked multiple times before, so it's on our radar. I hope to have a better answer for you next time.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you. Molly.
Hello there. I'm gonna try to figure out how to lower my hand. Just wanted to thank you so much for your work. And as someone who has been a social worker for a while and has used expressive arts in various different formats, I think, everything that you've highlighted here just speaks to how powerful that can be and how important it is to engage with the seniors in our community. And I mainly I didn't necessarily have a question, but I wanted to offer, if you have not made contact with anyone at Krannert Art Museum yet, I noticed that you're interested in working with them. If you're looking for a contact there, I do have somebody that I could connect you with if you would be interested. Have you started collaborating with them yet?
I had trouble getting into Krannert until Rachel moved over there.
Okay,
with the storm.
that was who I was going to connect you
Yes,
with, but
yeah.
she would be, I'm sure, very interested given her work with the Urbana arts. So that's great that you are already connected with her.
I appreciate that offer. And I'd love to talk to you about how you use expressive arts.
Definitely, I can put my email in the chat for you.
Great, thank you. Jen.
Hey there. I just wanted to say, this is not a question, but when I found out about this program, I was so excited. I work with a lot of seniors, and frankly, a lot of the seniors in our community are people who are dealing with poverty, because we know that SSI and SSDI do not allow people to be above poverty. Poverty is isolating. I feel like so many people within the last 3 years have become so isolated, and I get so many calls from some of my older folks where they just need to connect with people. So the idea that you're doing this and creating these connections for folks, and it's something that doesn't require like a monetary transaction, it's just really hopeful and wonderful. And I really thank you for your work.
Thank you, Jen. That means a lot. I am looking at trying to develop a box for groups, because I have had a lot of people say, I have a church group, or I have got a book club or whatever, and we'd love to do this. So we're looking at, could we design a box that could go out to a group, and I could even design it around a theme of their choice. So that it's not in the PowerPoint because I just started talking to my boss about that, but thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Well, thank you so much, Julie. Wonderful presentation. It's great to hear from you.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to write down that email and then I will get out of your way.
That was great. Thank you.
You all.
You're not in our way.
Yeah. So the next item on the agenda is old business. So we have the board review of the applications for 2024. Just for information only, any discussion that we may have on that.
Dr. Joachim, would you mind if I did a brief update?
Yeah, of course.
So like some things I wanted to tell you 2 days ago, plus new stuff. So 2 days ago, I wanted to tell you all that our staff are finished with our first run through everything except there were 4 applications submitted by agencies that haven't submitted an audit yet. We are going to talk about the audit issues a little bit later. We understand that those are complicated situations. I am starting to review those now, but anyway, like everybody's been involved. We've got pretty solid first drafts set up, and we're now working through them to edit, to find mistakes, to make them consistent across each one, because sometimes, I'm sleepwalking through it one day and then really intense the next day. And I think all of us are subject to that. So we're trying to make them more consistent, and then also maybe some reformatting. So we're really ready. for board members to, if y'all have any questions or things you're really interested in, we're ready to do that. I mean, we're kind of busy because we're still working, collaborating on these drafts, but we're ready to fold you all into that process to whatever degree you're interested. And that's the thing about board members is you get to decide how much of this you want to do. So this was a draft that we had developed earlier for how you all might split up the reviews. And then we had this real quick application opportunity Monday and Tuesday. And when it closed, we had 11 new applications from 4 agencies. There was a 5th agency that tried and they weren't able to submit, but it was like by the end of the day, we were best friends. So there's, it's not lost. Maybe they'll be able to prepare for the next time around. It was nice to try to help someone through that and, kind of see the system from a newcomer's eyes. But we do have 11 more applications to review. And Alexa McCoy has resigned from the board. It's all very peaceful and loving, but she is no longer available to review these. So I've spent some time this afternoon with Leon Bryson talking about a different scenario for y'all to review. It incorporates the 11 new applications and then adds some assignments. So I think I told y'all before, I have printed everything if you want printed copies, but now I'll need to add to those, the new assignments, because you have a month. It's like, not a lot of time, but we're also pretty confident that we're going to be able to make it through all of them. It's just that, the first day you have April 19 and April 26th to discuss them and look through the staff reviews and compare your own thoughts and ask agency questions. We hope the agencies will be present for those 2 meetings, but we'll probably put the late applications on the 2nd day, just to give everybody that extra week to think about them. Anyway, so that's my update.
So you'll send an email out then with the updated list? Okay, perfect.
And the offer to, for the printed copies, like I'm a little nervous about them being too thick to put in the mail, but it occurred to me we can put 2 envelopes into the mail for you. So I'll be in the office tomorrow with all these stacks of printed applications. If you're interested, let me know and we'll get them sent out to you. But I think I already sent JPEGs of PDFs of all of the full applications to everyone. So anyway. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Lynn. With that, we can go on to the next item on the agenda, which is the audit delays and agency requests. Kind of ties into what we were talking about earlier.
So I think the first page is kind of old news. You guys know all this. And just today, I learned from one of the county finance people that they're hearing about this now as this is another national workforce shortage that's affecting every sector. And the cities and the county are now competing for applicants for finance professionals. So it is, I guess I knew that. I mean, we've heard this from the CPA firms already, but now I'm hearing it in the public space. So this is the update that's critically important is that actually First Followers submitted an audit yesterday or the day before. We've got, our guy is looking at it. We've looked at it. Doesn't look like there are any problems that we need to follow up on. So yay, First Followers, thank you. But the other ones we still don't have. And the agencies are working with their CPAs to try to get these quickly. But there are a couple of agencies who think that they might not make this March 31st deadline. So they're asking for some additional time. And I think y'all predicted that last month. So you were right. So we've made some suggestions about possible board actions. I mean, we are struggling with this too. The agencies are struggling with it. I don't know. It's like one of those things that feels a little too big for us to fix, but we can adjust around it. So I'm a little concerned about if we don't have audits in time for you to make funding decisions. We don't have the certainty, so we might have to make some of the funding decisions conditional. And I think we've done that before or talked about it before. So anyway.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the other thing is, this will probably happen next year. This is, like you were saying, it's not just a CPA shortage, it's just a worker shortage in America in general. There's from electricians, the plumbers, I think, for emergency medicine doctors, the match day was this last week, and there was over 500 residency spots that didn't match for empty slots for emergency medicine. So there's 500 less emergency medicine residents this year. Normally they have like 12 or 16 slots that don't match. They accounted for like 20% of the people that didn't match for or slots that didn't match for residency, which is really high. So I think for me, my main thing for the CPA and for these agencies is that they tried, and they're doing a good job with communicating with the CPA firm to get the audits in. I think we have to do what we can as best we can. Nothing is going to be perfect this year or probably next year. So I think, we'll have to be adaptable, but still accountable, like you're saying, with having some funding being conditional based on when the audits get done. I don't know what other people's thoughts are.
Just kind of a general question. So Lynn, you mentioned that First Followers got back to us. In your list of motions, you have 3 of them listed. So there's still a couple others that said what are we going to do about if we haven't heard from them? So for example, the Refugee Center, Wind Recovery, and Muhammad Area Youth Club all said they were expecting them in the next week or 2, but.
So thank you, Matt. That is a really great, I think I know where you're headed with that. Thank you for bringing that up. This is one of the reasons that I only suggested motions, because, it's like breaking news every day in this, so if you wanted to change this to a sweeping motion, you could, every agency's situation is really different. The 3 who have asked for extensions have all asked for something slightly different. So thanks for bringing that up, though.
Okay. Oh, because these were the 3 that actually explicitly asked for the extensions.
And they provided letters to the.
They were okay. I didn't make that connection with them. All right.
Letters of support, or there's even a letter from the CPA firm about one of the situations, which that CPA had already written to you about Grow in Illinois before. Yeah. So the news is that now he's not going to be able to complete it by March 31st. Okay. And
but then I guess the other 3 all said they expect them in the next.
I'm sorry, yeah.
The other end of March, but we haven't heard from them yet, one way or the other.
Yeah, so Refugee Center, the Muhammad, and then Win.
So I had a question about, Lynn, you seem to be a pretty good expert on this ARPA funding. So I know that's given, and then, some of these agencies, whatever, will get the money and it's not guaranteed to ever come back again. Do they have to turn in any audits and things like that in the future for any ARPA funds? I mean, Dr. John already said we could run into this next year, but if these CPA firms are going to have to now start doing all this extra ARPA stuff, so do they have to do anything for ARPA?
Jane, I don't know. That's a really good question, and maybe Jen Straub knows the answer, but the money that the mental health board received from the county was a one-time allotment or allocation. It was for the period of July 1, 2021 to June 30, 2022. they're still they're waiting for these outstanding audits, because if any of these organizations owe money back on the contract, we'll receive the money and then we send it back to the county, and then they put it back in their ARPA fund and they can reallocate it. And they have some requests to reallocate it too, but I don't know what their requirements are when they're doing a direct allocation. What they did for us was, allocated money to us that would be spent per our requirements, which are like pretty heavy. So maybe they're not asking for audits, but this is these late audits are slowing down my report to them, but I did check in today and they're okay. They're okay.
Well, and I always say, most of my experience is in school board government. And I know that there are a couple times in my district, we had gotten like nice grants, like for computers and stuff. And as much as we are thankful for that money, boy, were there a lot of hoops even afterwards that we had to jump through as far as how many students used them, where are all those laptops? And so I was like, usually there's a requirement in the fine print, and I just wasn't sure if that's something we're going to deal with next year with audits and all that.
We're done with ARPA money after we resolve all of these accounts, and it's all just financial. Like all the service reporting is done. They have but what you said is really poignant, because the federal requirements changed a couple of times, so they're asking me for information, and then the next time they're asking for different information. And I started feeling really lucky that we didn't have more ARPA funding.
But I just hope it doesn't drain on the CPA firms in the future for all these people who've gotten ARPA funds. So, all right, thank you for your assistance.
And, one thing I would say is most likely with the CPA firms all really trying to get everyone's taxes done before April 15th, I don't think realistically, I would be really surprised. I'd be happily surprised if these audits came in before the 15th of April. I think most likely realistically, if I had to make an educated guess, I would guess probably the end of April. A lot of these will probably start coming in, which will be after our meetings.
Right.
So I think these, funding decisions will probably be conditional for these groups based on whenever the audits come in, if everything, all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted.
So given that, do you think, so like the immediate threat is that the contracts are they're canceled automatically on April 1 if we don't have an audit by March 11. We put that rule into place, I think it's in this memo somewhere, to control the budget a little bit, because we were finding we're holding money for over a year, really large amounts of payments for over a year, and then it was being spent out of a different year where we had budgeted for allocations, which now that held expense was limiting what we could allocate. So that was the main reason to contain it, we can only do this for 3 months and then we stop. So clearly that March 31st deadline is hard. So if you wanted to ignore these motions and do like one general motion, we could do that too. But I don't, and I don't like it. They're hearing things from the CPA firms that, like, oh, I'll have it at the end of the week, and then they don't. So
I think from my perspective, I want to make sure that these groups are communicating with the CPA firms and that they're on top of this and they're not just letting it go until the last minute. So I think that was kind of my mindset of making, I think when we said, okay, April 1st, because we were getting a lot of written notification from the communications between the agencies and the CPA firms that they would have it done by then. But obviously it seems like there was a overconfidence by the CPA firms possibly. In when they would get things done. So with that in mind, I still want to make sure that these agencies are communicating with the CPA firms. So I'm not sure what people on the board would agree to how far to extend these, because one is for the well experienced until June 1st. I don't think I would want, and same thing with Grow. I don't know if that's too far out for staff. or for our budget, if it's going to make things even messier. What are your thoughts on that, Len? Like, if we push things out to June 1st, how messy is it going to make our budget more than it is now?
These are pretty small contracts. So the issue of holding payments and then having to release them, like, that's not going to hurt us as much as, I think the main impact of not having audits before then is really the funding recommendations. Like, you can make funding decisions that have a condition to them, but it's going to be a little bit tricky for us as staff to say to you, they're solid, you know? Like, so like, I mean, we've been in this position before. It's just that I don't know when it will get better. It feels like we're having to take risks each year. And like you said, or like someone said, they're likely to be late next year. And we've heard that too I actually heard that from the chief deputy auditor a couple months ago, that if it's late this year, it's very hard for the CPA firm to start working on it in time to make it on time next year. And that's one of the things grantors don't understand. So I heard him, but doesn't change our problem.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think all we can do is, I mean, we have to make a decision. So I think from my perspective, I would just say, well, if so far the agencies have been responsible and in the past they have been diligent and we haven't had many issues, then I think as a group we can decide what risk we're okay with taking and what we're not okay taking. And if an audit comes in poorly with a lot of issues, then in the future they wouldn't get funding. And obviously we don't want to, we all will play, anyone can play, devil, or was it Monday morning quarterback, where you can just second guess everything you did, but at the time you have to make the decision with the information you have and not all the information you want. And so I think that's all we can do. And just kind of have to accept that, unfortunately.
So if you were to extend the deadline, or it's like you're extending the cancellation date, basically, and allowing us to continue suspending payments, like it's not a very high risk for this fiscal year. I feel like the risk is really in our continued funding. Maybe I'm wrong, but.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in years past, if we had some larger agencies that had some issues in the past, obviously there's one that I think of that obviously did a big turnaround in everything in their management. Obviously that would have been a big possible hit to seeing, things not being spent the way they're supposed to be spent, or the documentation not being what it's supposed to be. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a good answer, unfortunately. I think if there was an easy answer, we would have already found it. So I think extending the hold on the payments and not canceling everything, that's obviously what we want to do. I think the question for me is, do I want to do May 1st or June 1st? If two of the groups already are saying June 1st, probably is going to be the easiest decision so that we don't have to keep coming back to this. But at the same time, I do want a stipulation where they are giving us written communication with the CPA firm on a monthly basis if they don't have the audit in yet. So okay, April 31st came along, we don't have the audit. I want a letter from the CPA that you've been communicating with them and they have an estimation when this is coming in. Okay, May, it's getting close to June 1st. Okay, we don't have the audit yet. Do you guys have a communication in May with the CPA firm on what's been going on? So I think maybe mid-April, mid-May, I want a letter from these agencies with a communication from the CPA firms that they've been keeping in touch with them, just to kind of make sure that they are following through with everything they're supposed to be doing.
Dr. Joachim, I have a question for you. I mean,
Yeah.
y'all have maybe much more discussion that you want to have. GROW has previous approval for us to continue making the payments even while the audit is late. So that's different from the others. Everybody needs more time to get the audit done, but their situation is different. Do we continue to release payments or do you start suspending payments? I guess is that. Anyway.
Now, remind me, why did we continue to release payments for them?
Because
Was that the audit?
because the CPA firm was responsible for the delay.
Okay. I mean, I would like to hear what other people's thoughts are on this.
Well, is the question we're talking about, one of the questions is whether to make a blanket motion for everybody who doesn't have the audit in, or just vote on the ones that, these three that are in our packet, and add some requirements and decide something different about whether to release payments or not. Is that everything that's?
Yeah, release payments for GROW.
Yeah, but is that everything that's on the table? Those four things is what I'm asking, or is there something else I haven't gotten hold of?
So just to follow on that question then, since you brought up GROW specifically, so the idea would be the other ones, we would suspend payment, but we would not cancel the contract, right?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay.
I think that makes the most sense given, just kind of the landscape of what's happening right now. Unfortunately, even if we want accountability and transparency from these agencies, we can't ask them to provide something that they have no access to, right? So, and we want to keep setting people up for success, so.
Just a general question, if anyone happens to know the answer to this, are these CPA firms, is there any financial penalty for them missing these deadlines? Are they getting?
Hello?
This would be the lack of return business, but with a lack of options,
Yeah.
I'm just stuck.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering. We need to highly recommend to some of these agencies, you need to look elsewhere. I mean, is there anything that says they have to use Champaign County? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Because a couple of these agencies have been burned a couple of times.
Hello? Hi, everyone. I'm Kisa from GROW. Our CPAs actually failed on this. We actually had a contract with them. When it was time to report with them, they said they didn't have a contract with us, or they didn't realize they had a contract with us. Yeah, so we've been dealing with CCMHB and all of you guys. I love you guys, obviously. Thank you for funding us. But it's been hard. We have not been able to, so I guess next month we will be defunded because our CPA said that they can't have our stuff done until after April 18th, because there's other clients to take, basically, they have control over our stuff, basically. So we don't have that, and it may make us, have funding and not have funding with CCMHB because of that. I don't know what to say about that. I've been trying my best. Brenda Eakins have been trying her best, and all of our other people, but I hope you guys at least let us, because we try, but I can't do anything because it's CPA, so. and they're holding us up. And yeah, that's it.
Well, I appreciate your comments. I think that just kind of echoes the sentiment that we've been discussing so far.
Yeah.
So, I think if people are in agreement, I think probably the easiest thing would be to do a sweeping motion to approve extending the audit deadline into June 1st. And then we can make a second motion to approve Grows continuing to release payments of the contract on their contract during that time.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And
can I ask a question, John? Is that on just the 3 that we originally had motions on, or is that for any that are outstanding?
I think I would do it for any that are outstanding.
Okay.
I wish that we would have gotten something from the Refugee Center and Muhammad Youth Club, but I think they assume that they're going to get it by March 31st. So they're optimists. So I'm sure, hopefully, fingers crossed they do. But if not, hopefully they'll tell Lynn, hey, this is what's going on. March 31st came and went, and this is what.
Maybe we can look forward to like 4 really exciting emails from Lynn. Yay, we got a deadline.
Yeah. Perhaps, John, we can add into that that deadline pending that for those other ones. Basically, anyone who submits something from a CPA firm saying that it isn't work, just to
Yeah.
Well, for the Refugee Center, so I think for June 1st, like monthly letters from the CPA saying that they are working on the audits. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, John, may I ask a question? This is Stephanie with the volunteer.
Yeah, you're with which
The
one?
volunteer.
Oh, the Wellness Firm.
Yeah. I'm first, I just want to say thank you so much.
It's a little hard to hear. There's a little echoing.
I'm sorry. Let's see. Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. I wanted to say first, thank you all so much for your consideration. We definitely appreciate it. I want to know if you said if you receive monthly letters or something from the CPA, I want to know if we can do that as emails as well, because we are our audit is underway. We are submitting everything, and it looks like she's working on it, and they're doing a good job. We've been giving them everything they've asked for so that we can get it done, but we do know it's not going to be done by the 31st of March. So I just want to know, I have emails that I have been trying to stay in contact with Lynn and Leon with. Is that acceptable as proof of the audit being of them if they send us something and we can get those to you? Or do you need an official letter from them monthly?
I mean, I would think an email from the CPA firm, as long as it, is on their work email, I think that would be sufficient correspondence.
Okay, thank you so much. I do want to let you know that the well has been fully cooperating and they are working on ours. And they actually came out to our office and met with us and got all the information they needed so that this can get completed. And I've already talked to them about engaging with them for next year as well, so that we can hopefully try to get things started in advance as soon as she's done with this one, so that we won't have this issue. So those are conversations I'm already having. I know this is a challenge. It has been an extreme challenge for us as well, and I appreciate you all and just allowing us to work this out. And hopefully this won't be an issue for us again.
Yeah, here's hoping. It's I know it's been a tough year for you guys, for the agencies. I know with the shortages, again, I think the main thing is just knowing that you guys are doing what you're supposed to do. It's not the fault of you, it's the fault of the CPA firms because of the worker shortage. So, I think we're just trying to make sure that we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's. And I mean, you guys are doing a great job. So just keep doing what you're doing, and things will work out.
Thank you, Jim.
I guess I'll kind of go as well. I just wanted to, kind of piggyback up what Miss Stephanie said, that, I also appreciate you all and the funding that you provide for the center. I know that you all have a longstanding partnership with the center. This has been rough. It's been rough to no end. It's been stressful. It's been frustrating. All the words I could use, all the terms I could use. I've done everything from offer to drive to Springfield to pick up the audit from our auditor. We have been emailing back and forth for months. He told us he would get it to us in, actually long before March, months before. We didn't get it. And then in February, I was on a birthday trip and Mr. Leon, caught up with me. And I mean, I'm at the airport trying to talk and, make sure I get everything done before I, got on the plane. And so, yeah, it's been a lot, but we are working through it as best we can. And I know that I read in the GATA portal online for the state of Illinois that it is a shortage, like you guys have been discussing. So I've been trying to be patient. It's hard being patient because when you got different grantors requesting information, as you all know, it's like, hey, guys, I need you to get on your stuff because I got a foot on my neck, and so, but I get it, it's all accountability stuff. So I do want you all to know, I appreciate you all for, funding Urbana Neighborhood Connection Center as well. And I'm doing as best I can to stay on top of our auditor. And I've been emailing him, and I know sometimes he gets frustrated because he emails me directly and then I include everybody in on the message so that everybody can see. And it's not to put anybody on blast, it's more of maybe that'll help you move a little faster. If you see that there's a reason behind me bugging you, sir, it's not because I just like talking to you this much, it's because I have, deadlines to meet myself. So, I'm going to keep on. I finally got him to call me this week, which I've been wanting for months. And I did hear from him today that he should have it tomorrow. And I told him, I said, okay, I won't hold my breath, but I am hopeful that you have everything you need and that you will get it to me. I said, if anything changes, please call me. And I gave him my desk phone, my cell phone, and the number here at the center at my other job. So like I said, I'm doing everything I can to try to get you all what you've requested of me. So I'm trying to stay on top of him so that, he can get us what we're asking for. But I appreciate your patience and your human kindness and understanding with this whole situation.
Follow-up question on that. So first of all, Janice, did I pronounce that right? Is it Janice?
Yes, that's right.
So you said Springfield. So this is an auditor over in Springfield?
Yes.
Did you already have a connection, or did you end up doing that because you couldn't find somebody in the area?
So from my understanding, and this is just stories passed down to me, but my mom, who opened the center, went through several different auditors here in the county. And I've been talking to my dad recently. He told me, he said, well, niece, you have to be patient with them. He said, because they're pretty much all the same. He said, because if you switch, you go to another one, you're going to run into the same issue. And my dad, who helped her build this building and this legacy and was a huge portion of supporting her and the finances of the center, he basically said, we together made that decision of we've got to move on from the first guy that we had because he was backing us up, causing us to be held up. So they moved into working with a different auditor. That auditor didn't work out. They went to a third auditor. So this is our fourth auditor since we've been open in 13 years.
Wow. Thanks for that, because that kind of goes to what Jane had said earlier about they're already so our agencies are already looking outside of Champaign, Urbana, and still having the issues. So it's kind of a bigger issue than just local.
Mhm.
So I think with that, I can make a motion, and if you guys like it, you guys can second it. If not, we can discuss it. But I'll make a motion to allow all agencies until June 1st, 2023 to submit approved PY 2022 independent CPA audits without contract cancellation, with the contingency of reporting monthly correspondence between agencies and CPA firms until the audit is submitted.
I second that motion.
I only say I think it needs to be condition, not contingency.
Oh, sorry. with the condition. All right. So let me redo the motion. So
If you're going to redo the motion, also reviews, audits and reviews, because not everybody owes an audit.
Okay, I was wondering about that too.
Yeah.
And
I
then
also have
one
a
other-
question.
Oh, go ahead.
You could go ahead. You were on a roll.
All right. The other one was, then do we also need to include that this is in the motion that payment suspension would still occur though? Do we need to include that in the motion, or?
In these other motions, it says
it's not. I didn't know if we need to or not, because
I think it's assumed that the payment suspension would continue, because
yeah, that's what I wasn't quite sure on, but if that's the case, I'm good with that.
And does that need to be included, or is that just assumed?
I had just left it out as assuming it, but I think there's nothing wrong with y'all being as specific as you want to be.
Because the second motion I was going to do was to continue the payments for grow.
Yeah,
but
that's why I don't. Yeah, I'm on the fence about that, if it's necessary or not, just because, to be clear, like crystal clear about it, if we want to put it in there.
So I can say without contract cancellation. I can say maybe a motion to continue the suspension of funding and allow the agencies until June 1st. Do you think that, I think that would be okay? All right, continue the suspension of,
And then Molly, you said you had something to?
Yeah, I was wondering if we wanted to, well, I guess sort of a broader question is sort of if there's a specific way we want to define like the updates from the agencies, what in terms of the communication with the CPA firms. It sounds like we're going to permit email communications, but I didn't know if we want to have specific deadlines, especially given that some of the agencies that are going to get this extension have communicated with us already, and other agencies have not communicated with us with an update this month.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other agencies, like, they have till March, they think they're going to get theirs on March 31st. The only one that didn't was the WIN recovery that said they were going to get theirs by March 17th. So, I mean, I think I'm fine with them just giving us a letter from the CPA next month.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm fine if you guys want to make a different revision to that. And I think email correspondence is fine as long as it's with, like, it has their business email and it tells us what the expected deadline is. And again, the deadline is going to be June 1st. And during all this, they're having suspension of their payments. They're not receiving their funding. So obviously they want to receive their funding as soon as possible. So I don't see the agencies deliberately trying to delay their audit, in my opinion. Does that sound okay with you guys, or? All right. So I will remove that motion and I will make a new motion to continue the suspension of funding and allow all agencies until June 1st, 2023 to submit the approved PY 2022 independent CPA audits and reviews without cancellation, with the condition of reporting monthly correspondence between the agencies and CPA firms until the audit is submitted. Do I have a second?
I will second.
All right. Can we get a roll call for that?
Is there any more discussion?
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. Is there any discussion before we do a vote?
Just growing Illinois. Thank you so much. We will definitely be submitting that. I appreciate it because we've been going through a lot lately. So a turnover and like, you know, staff and everything. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any board discussion before we vote? No.
And the communication is between whom?
Between the agencies and the CPA firms.
Okay, and do we get
Yeah, so
record of that?
There should be reporting monthly to Lynn,
Okay.
the correspondence between the agencies and the CPA firms.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments before we make a vote? All right. Stephanie, can we have a roll call, please?
Matt Hausman,
Yes.
Daphne Maurer,
Yes.
Molly McClay,
Yes.
Joe Mosagie,
Yes.
Elaine Plencia,
Yes.
Jen Straub,
Yes.
Jane Sprandel,
Yes.
John Paul Joachim.
Yes. All right. With that, I will make another motion to allow Grow in Illinois to continue receiving payments on their contract until until their audit is submitted by June 1st, 2023.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Do we have a second so we can do
I'll
discussion?
second the motion.
And then do we have any discussion on that motion? Does that sound okay with everybody, or do we make any adjustments to that? All right, I mean, if that sounds good to everybody, we'll do I'll do a roll call. So we can have a roll call, Stephanie?
Joe Mosagie, Joe,
Yes.
Elaine Plencia,
Yes.
Jen Straub,
Yes. Sorry, my space bar didn't work.
Jane Sprandel,
Yes.
Matt Hausman,
Yes.
Daphne Maurer,
Yes.
Molly McClay,
Yes.
John Paul Joachim.
Yes. All right, seeing that approved. Is there any other items or motions that I did not cover, that we did not cover? Lynn, do you think that's everything, correct?
I think you did it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. All right.
It's so tough. I know this is really hard.
Well, I'm glad. I mean, this is a great discussion. I know everyone's doing their best. So, I mean, again, that's all we can do. So, with that being said, let's move on to the analysis of PY 2022 claims data.
Isn't this fun? I love this so much. And Kim Bowdry probably doesn't want to talk about it, but she did it. I love it. She even put some really beautiful charts in there for you.
Yeah, I think the one thing that was interesting was page 48, and it said for the CCMHB funded programs, client age data for kids between 0 and 6, it was 100% for that age group. And I was wondering, I'm guessing that was like DSC or Head Start or.
Yeah, that's both. It's been nice for the last few years that those are the pieces the mental health board is fully funding, and it's just clean. But in the past, the mental health board has picked up all sorts of different DD programs, kind of like, depending on what they liked, what was extra that the DD board couldn't afford. But this is just, it's been very nice in the last few years that y'all own the early childhood stuff.
Yeah, and it seemed like on page 51 that it was really targeting the Hispanic and Latino population in our county. And I think a lot of that goes to the, getting the Spanish speakers to get those with developmental delays in the system, to get them services that they would otherwise not receive because of that extra barrier.
That's good.
At least for, I don't know if people know, for kids between 0 and 3, if they are having developmental delays or other issues, usually you can call the state program, which is early intervention, to have a home evaluation for your child, and they'll come to the house and they will do a developmental evaluation and see if they're delayed on their physical on their gross motor skills, fine motor skills, their communication skills, social emotional skills. And if they're behind on things, they will provide physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, developmental therapy until they're caught up or until they're 3 years old. And then they will get them into preschool, Head Start, and they will get those therapies at the school at that point. And so, DSC, I think with the family development, I think they really help get those families what they need and help them get over barriers that they may have. And so a lot of Spanish speaking families in the community have that barrier of accessing, know where to go, because a lot of times if you call early intervention and you need to get speech therapy and you're Spanish speaking, there's a longer wait list than someone who speaks English. Same thing if they're French speaking and so on. So it makes it a lot harder, and it's hard to do these visits as video visits because the kid's not as interested in talking on Zoom. So a lot of those, really to get a good therapy for speech therapies, particularly, it's best to be in person. So I think a lot of some of the funding we'll see this year, some of the applications, one of those kind of addresses some of those problems.
Not to spoil the surprise for April, you are right.
Were there any comments or questions on that information? I see something in the chat. Let me just see that real quick. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jen Straub is pointing out the home visiting. That is a nice thing about the local funding. Mental health and DD local funding can do some things that the state doesn't do, like pay.
Yeah, we've been able to take advantage of that with some of our foster children, and it's just amazing.
That's great. That's been a nice development in this community. It's both of the programs that you're looking at in those results are included in that home visit consortium, which is it's amazing that that exists here. That's another thing I think the mental health board should be proud of, because a lot of the organizations in the home visiting consortium don't have funding to collaborate, and the mental health board funding supports the collaboration. So yay.
And it makes sure that we're not having a lot of overlapping resources where they're not seeing the same families, So we have, I think it's like 8 or 9 of these groups that are doing these home visits, and some do different things, but they are collaborating with each other, so they're not seeing the same families. So okay, you're seeing this family, okay, we're gonna go see these families, okay, they're seeing these families, we're gonna see these families. So we're trying to get that maximum effect for our dollar, which is great, because there's a lot of need, so there's no need to overlap.
Right.
With that being said, we'll move on to the CCMHB and developmental DDB schedules and our timeline. So I don't know if Lynn, if you want to go over that.
Just very exciting study session next week. I know Dr. Yuakim is not going to be there, but he can watch the recording of it later. I'm very excited about that one. So then on April 19th and 26th are, there'll be some regular business, but also the focus is to review those applications. And then I think these are always in here, but I just want to let you know, we get a lot of questions about deadlines and they are all listed here. So this is, if you've got one board packet, there's like a magic document in the back of it. Anyway, and I think this is posted on the public sites too, but we had added the deadlines in there in italics. Those are either things that our staff are responsible for or the agency staff. So anyway, that's it.
All right. The next item is agency input. So if there's any agencies here that would like to make any comments, just limit your participation to 5 minutes. Just raise your hand, we'll call on you. We have Nicole Smith from DSC.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm losing my voice, so I hope you can hear me okay. I'm Nicole Smith. I'm the Director of Family Development at DSC, so our Children's Department. So of what we were just talking about, what I was hearing, we're seeing so much great collaboration. At DSC, we do house early intervention services, so we have therapy. We also have in-house home visiting, so we work with the Home Visiting Consortium. And just the way that we're able to kind of mesh these two programs, helping to assist families. We use a lot of language line services to try to reach our Spanish-speaking families, our French-speaking families, Congolese, and we're having really great success working together on that. We also have a new collaboration that we're really proud of. Our department at DSC has been working with TAP at UIUC and Salt and Light to offer a play project group. So play project is a therapy that DSC has. It's specifically geared towards children with a diagnosis of autism. And the play project intervention is focused on parent coaching. So we use a lot of parent coaching strategies to help parents learn how to better engage and interact with their children. So this group is being run by 2 play project consultants, one from DSC and one from TAP, Adrienne Shockley. She's actually the assistant director at TAP. And they meet at Salt and Light and they're welcoming siblings into the group, and we're just having really great success there. So just wanted to share some nice collaborations and successes that we're seeing at our agency.
Awesome, thank you for that, Nicole. Any other comments or announcements? All right. With that, I'll move on to the Champaign County, the next item on the agenda, which is the Champaign County Developmental Disabilities Board input. Is there anyone from the DDB board?
I can tell you.
All right, yeah.
They met this morning, very similar. It was a lot of discussion because they also didn't have, too many action items. But they're going to be reviewing applications on April 19th in the morning. There are, just to let you know, that DSC Family Development application will be reviewed by the Mental Health Board and the DD Board. So it doesn't have to be that way. Y'all could skip it and just rely on what the DD Board has to say about it, but I had set it up for everyone to take a look. So anyway, I don't know. It was a long meeting. It was really interesting. We're getting some very interesting public input about the larger DD system and the workforce problems that, I don't need to tell you guys because Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Lynn, does the DDB board also have issues with the agencies being able to get the CPA firms to get the audits done on time? No.
One of them did, but they got it. It was a couple of weeks late.
Okay.
So their payment was paused for 1 month.
Maybe you can ask them who their firms were, so we can get a list of firms that got things done on time, so we can maybe make a list if people have
Yeah,
questions about who to try.
we have to be a little bit careful about making recommendations.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the agencies can talk to each other, and they do.
Okay, good.
So hopefully there will be some, robust gossip about who to use and who not to use.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think the issue with the DD agencies is there aren't very many of them left. Many of them have already gone out of business. So I don't want to take the timeliness and success of reporting to that board as a sign of like they're just doing a lot better than the mental health board agencies, because I think that's not quite it. The ones who couldn't make it are gone. And I think the mental health board may be on that path. So it's, we want agencies to be successful as long as there are needs and they are meeting the needs in a meaningful local way. But it's the problems that we've seen on the DD side could happen here too. So I appreciate your sensitive conversations about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, just more of the way the world is with just resources, Again, I think this is more of a CPA issue than anything else right now. So, but yeah, thank you so much. So I guess the next item is staff reports.
It's really long. Just the one.
Just short, 30 pages. Right?
Just 30 pages.
Mhm.
I feel like this is a deal that I've made with all of the different entities that support sending me to those conferences. Is I'll give you something back for it, which is my notes, and they may be of interest or not. There were two. Is it okay for me to talk just a second about this? You have another item of business and it's late, but just two things like the large conferences first, that's NACO, the National Association of County Officials, 3,000 members. And then the second 3 days are NACBD, National Association of County Behavioral Health Directors and DD Directors. That's a much smaller organization, but much more expertise in this field. So at NACO, the committees that I've served on for many, many years, not always real well attended. And the things that get everyone's attention are nursing home conversations. But wow, every session that I was in was packed with elected officials who have not had to think about mental health until starting in 2020, and they're there for it. And, they may not have a whole lot of expertise, and some of them have 2 to 4 years to create some huge success. They're very motivated to learn. It was really interesting, and it was nice to have them there. I'm sorry that it takes such a painful moment in history to bring us all together. But so that was one observation I wanted to share with you. The other, this is really important to me, and I think a positive reflection on Champaign County. Every federal official who spoke to us spoke about the workforce shortages and cultural competence, not DEI, not cultural responsiveness, not cultural sensitivity, cultural and linguistic competence, the way we do it. So yay us. And I did speak with a few of them after their sessions about I appreciate you connecting those two things, because I think we have to connect those efforts. And, next time, could we go into some detail, So I felt really happy about that, that y'all are in a good position, especially if there were to be new or refreshed funding opportunities around that. So anyway, that's it.
Awesome. So the next thing is board-to-board reports. Is there any board-to-board reports?
I did attend the Rosecrans board meeting at the end of February, and I don't have my notes with me. I'll try to remember. Maybe Gail is still on and can give us some information. but I know that Rosecrans got a couple of really nice grants. And one is to build a standalone crisis center. I'm still a bit unsure about the way they divvy up the different facilities that they have in the different states. So I'm hoping to get with Ms. Bound on that. Also, another grant they received was for building services. So, and then they talked about medication assisted therapy that they want to provide for substance dependence.
I don't know if it's been brought up in this meeting or not, but the Disabilities Expo for 2023 will be on October 28th, and they're going to have it at Marketplace Mall again. And if anyone would like to join any of the committees, we're always looking for more wonderful volunteers.
All right. With that, we'll move on to, I guess, board announcements. So I guess that was one. Is there any other announcements? All right, seeing none, we will move to other business. I'm going to recuse myself from the closed session. So I'll move us into closed session, and then Joe can.
You don't need to.
Oh, I don't need to for this one?
We don't need to have a closed session. If the board would like one, we can do it, but it's not necessary. This is a routine 6-month review.
Oh, okay. You know, I guess given the the recommendation to keep the minutes closed, I would just continue to keep them closed. So I will, do I have to make a motion for that?
You should probably not. Maybe someone else could make and second the motion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's true.
I'll make a motion to accept the closed session minutes as presented and to continue maintaining them as closed.
I'll second.
And then should I even vote on this then? Should I just
No.
just abstain, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, seeing that, is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, we'll move to a roll call.
Molly McClay,
Yes.
Joe Omowasagie,
Yes.
Elaine Plencia,
Yes.
Jen Straub,
Yes.
Jane Sprandel,
Yes.
Matt Hausman,
Yes.
Daphne Maurer,
Yes.
and John Paul Joachim.
And I abstain.
Right. Thank you.
So with that, we will move to adjournment. Great work, everybody. I know that was a long session, tough session. So thank you for everybody's participation and everybody's, dedication to all that all the agencies do, that all the staff does, and great work. So we'll see.
As I like to say to our agencies, keep your chin up, Buttercup. It'll get better.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay.